Hey you guys, we're back with another video, and I just got done with some very profound healing and energy work that taught me a really interesting lesson about anxiety in regards to resistance and getting the things that you want in your life. So kind of like manifestation. So we often think of anxiety as a bad thing, right? So for example, let's say you have a presentation coming up in a few days' time. You have to get up in front of the room, you have to start doing public speaking, and you might feel kind of nervous, you might feel kind of anxious the days leading up to the event, and especially just before you go up there. And we attribute this to just being our nerves and something that we should just push through, right? We should just ignore the feelings that we get and push through and do it. And if we do push through, then we'll feel better about ourselves for overcoming this obstacle. And this is the way I was taught when I was growing up. And probably this mindset is probably what you have also been told. But there's another way of looking at this, and is that anxiety isn't something you overcome. It's something that you're supposed to surrender to. I talked about this in my most recent video. I think surrender is the theme of September. I'm not sure if I made a video on this, but surrender is going to be the theme of September. And what I mean by this is surrendering instead of resisting change. So your entire life, whenever you've encountered anxiety, whenever you're going to start something new, you may feel nervous, you may feel anxious. For me, it was about, should I get a part-time job? Like a normal part-time job that people work in society. I left the workforce. I left the traditional workforce about 5 years ago to pursue entrepreneurship because I couldn't stand it, right? So I couldn't stand being around people. I couldn't stand being in that system that's just so closed off and stifles you of your freedom, your creativity. You have to be somewhere by a certain deadline, by a certain schedule. And so I couldn't tolerate this anymore. That's why I left. And recently, I've been thinking, should I go back, right? And so I did. I kind of, called up an employment counselor. I tried creating my resume. I tried creating my cover letter. I tried looking up jobs online. And there's a lot of immense amount of resistance. No matter how much I try to motivate myself, to influence myself, saying that this is a good thing, right? Finding a part-time job and bringing in a new stream of income is a good thing. It's something that's good for me. So why do I feel anxious when I'm doing it? Because when I was trying to create my cover letter, my resume, my documents, looking through the job listings, all of a sudden I feel this immense amount of resistance. There's some part of me in my body that's just telling me to not do it, right? It's like when you try to do something but you have absolutely no interest in it, and you feel that kind of resistance, like, what am I doing here? Why am I even doing this? I don't want to do this. That's what your body is telling you. But then we attribute it to things like nervousness and anxiety, and it's just something that we should ignore and push through, because then when we come through the other side, then we'll feel good about ourselves. But for me, no matter how much I push through, it just doesn't seem to be happening for me. So this is a sign actually from your body as telling you that you're not supposed to push through. It is offering you resistance because it's trying to get you to move in the right direction. It doesn't want you to go in that direction because that direction isn't for you. And this doesn't become aware to me until recently. I decided to, so the context was that they wanted to set up an appointment with me. where I meet the person at a certain time. And I have this thing now where I don't do appointments. I can't do appointments. I can't schedule them ahead of time. Just because leading up to the appointment, it causes anxiety, where it's just like, we will meet at a certain time, 3 p.m. on this day and this day. So I can't do appointments anymore. Because it's like a time commitment, right? In order to be of a higher dimension in the fifth dimension, the concept of time does not exist. So if you want to embody a higher vibration, it doesn't make sense for you to set appointments and deadlines and due dates. Because those are all fourth dimensional or third dimensional belief systems and structures that we set up for ourselves in order to operate in that kind of society. But when we're moving to a higher vibration, all of a sudden things like deadlines and time commitments, they don't even exist because it doesn't make sense for them to exist. Because a deadline causes you anxiety. A deadline forces you to complete things by a certain time. And in the natural world of the universe, no such thing exists. There's no force in this universe that tells you that you must do something by a certain time. You must grow up by a certain time. It gives you as much time as you want. It gives you as much time as you need. There is no rush. But for me, I kept trying to force it, right? So I think I'm the only person in my family that doesn't operate based on appointments or time. You might also operate on a similar basis if you have anxiety and nervousness, where you don't like appointments, you don't like due dates, you don't like all this stuff, right? And around you, there might be people like, oh, you need to manage your time better. You just need to get over the anxiety. Or, you know, you got to work on it, right? It's always hard in the beginning and eventually it becomes easier. No. This is coming from me, who's always been on time, who's always been committed. I've lived my entire life for the past, how old am I now? 28. So I lived my life basically for the past 27 years. Always on time, always meeting appointments, always being early, always ensuring that no deadline gets under my radar. So I'm always on top of these things. And I've always been living that kind of life. That's why I'm telling you now that is a different way of living now. That you don't have to live that way anymore. So this advice isn't coming from someone that can't deal with deadlines. This is coming from someone who can deal with deadlines, who dealt with deadlines their entire life, who dealt with pushing through what I perceived as my weaknesses. That's why I'm making this video, because I'm letting you know that pushing through what you consider your weakness is not actually what you believe it to be. Your weakness, or your feelings, or that sense of resistance you feel, is actually trying to lead you in the right direction. It's trying to tell you that, hey, you're not supposed to go this way. If setting an appointment causes you anxiety, you're not supposed to set an appointment. And then you may believe that, oh, then how am I going to get what I want, right? The shop's only open from at a certain time, right? It's only the guy only has time to see me at 3 p.m. Well, the universe is a funny way of making things work out. And so one of the ways is if you can't get an appointment with that particular person at 3 p.m., maybe you could find another person to help you, right? If you're looking for a doctor, maybe there's another doctor that can help you. And this doctor has open office hours from, let's say, 8 to 6. So you got to show up whenever you feel like it. So you don't have to make a commitment, a deadline. And in doing so, that gives you a lot more freedom, more ease, less anxiety, right? And so that's the way I operate now, where I can't consign myself to any kind of appointment, because that's not the way that I'm supposed to move. The universe doesn't want me to move that way. As a result, that means cutting off a lot of things in my life that would consign myself to an appointment. But the point of this video I'm trying to tell you is that this is the theme that September is coming up with, where you need to stop doing things that you feel resistant to. So I feel resistance whenever I try to set up appointments and deadlines with people, right? Like, we will meet on this date at this time, blah, blah, blah. That causes me an immense amount of resistance and anxiety. So I don't do it anymore. And that's the right thing to do. The right thing to do. The thing that the universe wants you to do. The thing that your spirit guides want you to do. Your higher self. They want you to stop doing things that you feel resistance to. There's no such thing as go against how you feel and it will turn out well. No. If you go against how you feel, it's going to turn out bad. But we don't realize this because we've been doing it our entire lives. That's why some people have really shitty lives. Because they're always like, I've been struggling my entire life. I've been doing the hard things. I've been pushing through my own limits. Why am I not happy? It's because you've been spending your entire life being led by resistance, being led by these negative emotions that keep influencing you to do the things that aren't going to serve you. Sure, you can push through it and you will get to a certain outcome, but it's only going to make you miserable. So why push? That's the point of this video that I'm trying to tell you. There's a wasp. So stop pushing against resistance, because resistance is there to help you. If you feel anxious and you don't want to do something, right? Don't do it. Trying to push through it, trying to rationally explain why you feel that way, doesn't serve you. Just listen to your emotions. It's that simple. But we can't do it because it's that simple. And we spent our entire lives with a certain belief system that makes us believe that we need to push through whenever we feel resistance. Resistance just means stop going this way, go the other way. And that's all you have to do. Because the other way is the right path to take. There will always be time. So there's no need to rush yourself or believe that you have to act based on fear or based on worry about what the future holds. So if that's something you struggle with too, where you're always second-guessing yourself and wondering, am I supposed to be going this way? Am I supposed to be pushing through? Or am I just being weak right now? And I need to man up and take this challenge head on. The path that feels the least resistance to you is the right path to choose. And for me, that's looking at a challenge and saying, I'm not going to take this challenge on. You do that, and you surrender to it. You say, I'm not going to take on this challenge. I feel a lot of resistance. I feel anxiety. You be honest with yourself. That's how I feel about it. So I'm not going to do it. And you don't have to take on that burden. You don't have to take on that belief system that's not yours anymore. And you will feel this sense of ease in your life. You remove this weight off your back and you're just like, I can breathe again. I can be who I want to be and not judge myself for it. That's my message to you. For all my viewers, welcome to my channel. If you're new, my name is Brian. I help people with spirituality in their life, making it practical. And that's it for this video. Let me know if you guys would like to see any more videos from me. As always, I love you all. Peace out, and I'll see you next time.